Can't have any music playing. Can't play any music, you know, the rules. Where do I buy my lumber? I get my lumber at Bonhoff Lumber, mainly, here in Los Angeles. I get asked that question all the time. Great place. I've been going there since, I don't know, like mid to late 1990s. Family owned and operated. I've been going there so long, I almost feel like part of the family. They would probably consider me like that distant, retarded cousin relative that they don't want to actually admit exists. Anyhow, great place. Huge selection. They can get you pretty much anything that you need. They mill things there. It's great. Christmas time just happened, and I called a day or so before Christmas Eve, and they told me they were closed, and I couldn't get down there. And they wouldn't be open again until, they're still not open. I think this will be later this upcoming week. But I had to get this project started. So I kind of scrambled, looked around, and I found this other joint. There was no competition for Bonhoff. I'm obviously still going to be going to Bonhoff. But it's called the House of Lumber. Real sweet lady named Stephanie runs the joint. They don't have the variety or the amount of lumber that Bonhoff gets. But in a pinch, if you need maple or walnut or, you know, things that are more common, could help you out. But more importantly, they carry really cool stuff. So like they carry Festool, which I like. They carry Amana blades and router bits. And even better, they've got a great selection of hardware. And I don't do a lot of cabinet work. But when I do, if I'm doing a cabinet with doors on it, I tend to do, if I'm not doing my shoji style sliding doors, which I'm kind of getting known for, what I do is an inset door. Most people, you'll see, they'll do overlay doors. The difference is an overlay door sits on top of the face frame of the cabinet. Anybody could install an overlay door. It's not a big deal. And that's mostly what you find as far as hardware goes, as far as the hinges, the European style hinges at Home Depot and Lowe's and other places. But I do inset doors. So the difference is in an inset door, when it closes, it fits inside the face frame of the cabinet. So everything's flush across. The doors don't sit proud of the face frames. You have to be a pretty good carpenter to pull that off, right? It's because you have to have a nice, even reveal on all four sides of the door for it to look right. And if you're going to do two doors in an inset, that's even harder, right? Because you got to think about that center. There's a lot of math in your head. I kind of just feel for it, but I nail it. The problem always was if I needed inset cabinet door hardware, I had to rely on this other place called E.B. Bradley. They've got a catalog. They sell pretty much anything you need hardware-wise. It's a great company, and they'll deliver it here at a pretty hefty cost, or they'll ship it if it's small enough. But the problem with shipping is it might not get there the day that they tell you it's going to get there. That happened to me on my last project. Slowed me down. So, real happy to find House of Lumber. Super stoked. I'm doing a project right now where I bought 6/4 walnut from them. Excuse me. Stuff I got was, I've probably been sitting there for a while. It's cuffed, bowed, cracked, you name it. And because of that, Stephanie gave me a great discount. Thank you again, Stephanie. She's a sweetheart, in case I haven't said it already. So all this has been face joined, and now it's about 1.25 inches thick. When I'm talking about quarter, 6/4, 5/4, 4/4, 8/4, that's by 1/4 inch. So 6/4 means 1.5 inches in the rough. And then you still have to mill it, right? So, you know, you face join one side perfectly flat, then you run it through the bandsaw and you resaw it. You usually end up with these sort of cutoffs here. I save these that are thick enough. I mill these down to 1/8 inch or so, and I use these. I rip them up. I put them into cutting boards. On this particular project, I'm doing 2 wall-hung units here. It looks real simple, but the corners are going to be mitered. I'm going to have my sliding dovetail keys in the corners. All the horizontal parts are bowed into the room, so they're deeper at the center. Sides are going to be about 7 to 8 inches deep, and it'll look like through tenons kind of coming in on the sides. The client had just bought one of my cutting boards, and he asked if I could make one of the side panels kind of mimic the cutting board. So I made this. There's a center piece of Purple Heart there. That piece of Purple Heart was tough to make because I didn't have one this thickness. I had this weird piece. I had to slice it down the middle, glue it together, mill it. A lot of work to make this piece. Anyhow, this came in at about 1 inch thick, which will be the overall thickness of all the parts. So all this has to get resawn to about, probably about 1 inch and 3/16 or so. Yeah, 1 1/8 inches, and then I'm going to face joint it again, and I'll be able to run it through the planer. I got to do glue ups, and it's still a lot of work. This job's mostly a milling project. Not a lot to think about with the rest of it. There's work there, but most of the time it's going to be just in the milling. Anyhow, I just want to let you know where I'm getting my lumber, basically. So it's Bonhoeff Lumber. That's my go-to, always has been. If you're in Los Angeles, that's where you want to go. That's in the city of Vernon, which is southeast of downtown Los Angeles. It's on 26th, and it's just east of Soto. There's this other one's popping in my head, Angel City Lumber. I haven't been there yet. Talked to one of the guys on the phone. They get lumber from around the city. Trees are getting cut down, and they mill it there. They can kiln dry it. They got slabs, live edge. Pretty cool. You never know what they're going to have. I'm kind of excited to go down there and meet those fellas. And then you got Stephanie over at House of Lumber. And then for hardware, E.B. Bradley. They're in town, and they'll deliver to you if you have a business. Get their catalog because the hardware selection is amazing, especially if you're a cabinet guy. So now you know where I get my stuff, and you know the difference between overlay and inset doors. People don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I hope I explain it well enough. Happy 2021. Let's stay positive. Positive mindset, right? Keep them positive waves going.